What's up guys, PTCGL here and welcome back to another video on the channel. Today guys, we are resuming content after about a month-long break. I had to move into college and now that's kind of all squared away and I've figured it out. So we are back today with the brand new set, Stellar Crown, and I gotta say I'm super excited for Stellar Crown because there are so many different decks that we get to play now on the channel. And I'm gonna try as hard as I can to start uploading frequently again. It does get a little more difficult with personal life stuff, and obviously being a college student does kind of take up a lot of your time, but I'm going to do my best to make as much content as possible. And today we're going to be starting with kind of the mascot Pokemon of the Stellar Crown set, and that is Terapagos EX. Now, I'm pretty sure you've seen a ton of Terapagos on your YouTube feed so far. Obviously, this is like the hot new deck that everyone wants to try out, and I think I've found kind of like one of the best ways to play this deck. It's basically a combined culmination of all these different lists that I've seen either on Twitter. For example, I saw a list by Josh Hatter, and I kind of modified this his base list to create this one. I've also seen some just kind of like looking on the ladder, watching some streams and stuff, and I've basically kind of put together my own list. And I gotta say, Terapagos is actually insane. Like, when I played this deck, I'm undefeated because it's so good. It's like also really toxic too. So if you're looking for a deck that basically, this turtle will never die, okay? Terapagos is like basically an invincible Pokemon, and if your opponent gets anywhere near knocking it out, you can use multiple different cards to basically negate everything that your opponent just did. It's actually hilarious to watch, and we're going to explain why. So first off, we have Terapagos EX, which is the coolest and one of the newest Pokemon EX. It is a 230 HP Tera colorless Pokemon, and it has 2 attacks. Now, we are not going to be focusing on the second attack, Crown Opal, because we don't have the necessary energy in order to power this up. We also don't have an energy acceleration engine for that, so we will not be focusing on that. Instead, we'll be focusing on the Unified Beatdown attack, which does 30 damage for each of your bench Pokemon. And basically how this works is you can't use it on your first turn if you go second, because otherwise that'd be really broken. You can do up to 220 damage on the first turn with it. And so they were like, yeah, let's not make that possible. So basically you want to go first with this deck just because you can't use Unified Beatdown, and you might as well just set up your evolutions. But you can do up to 220 damage with Unified Beatdown, which is just really strong. I know it's a kind of an underwhelming number against some Pokemon, but also considering the fact that Terapagos basically can't be one-shotted or return KO'd, it's completely fine because you just keep hitting them for 220 over and over and over again. And anytime they try and respond, you just kind of get rid of everything they just did. So that's kind of just Terapagos EX. There's not really much else to say about it. It's just a big beat stick attacker that basically is invincible. I know you see 230 HP, but we're going to talk about how we can get that HP boosted up more. Alright, so now there are a ton of other colorless type Pokemon that kind of make up the support engines for this deck. Now, let's start with the obvious one, Pidgey and Pidgeot. We set up our Pidgeys and then we Rare Candy into Pidgeot EX. Pidgeot EX allows us to search our deck for any card that we want and put it in our hand. Very useful, especially for this deck when you need to find a specific piece in order to turbo, or if you need to like find your energy or a stadium, then this works really well. So Pidgeot EX also can use Blustery Wind, which is not really that big of a deal because we're playing 4 stadiums, but it can be useful in some situations, but it's just in here for the quick search and for the free retreat. Okay, so basically all the other Pokemon in this deck are brand new, similar to Terapagos. First, we're going to start with probably the least exciting one, but one of the most powerful ones, and that is Fan Rotom. Fan Rotom is a 70 HP colorless type basic Pokemon, and it has the Fan Call ability, which allows you on your first turn to search your deck for up to 3 colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less, reveal them, and put them into your hand. Then you shuffle your deck, but basically, you can't use more than one Fan Call, by the way. But basically, this allows us to search our deck for either our Bouffalant, our Hoothoots, or our Noctowls, and we'll talk about all of those in a second. We also have the Assault Landing attack, but that's not really useful or relevant. We do have, next up, we have Bouffalant. Bouffalant is actually crazy broken, not because of the attack. It's actually pretty horrible because we can't really set it up without attaching 2 double turbo energies. But what we're mainly focusing on is the Curly Wall ability, which says as long as you have at least one other Bouffalant in play, all of your basic colorless Pokemon take 60 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. And you can't stack the ability. But basically what this means is that Bouffalant essentially boosts all of the colorless type Pokemon, basic colorless Pokemon, with another 60 HP. So that's what makes Fan Rotom now has 130 HP. Hoothoot has 130 HP. Pidgey has 120 HP, and Terapagos EX has 290 HP. So, and that's just the start, really. I know that, like, there's Dragapult EX, so, like, Pidgey isn't exactly safe from a Phantom Dive because that's a different effect. But essentially, if you're in the active spot and you have Bouffalant with the Curly Wall, you basically are blocking and you're absorbing basically most of your opponent's damage, which is really good for this deck, because you're always going to want to have a Terapagos EX in your active, and this makes it nearly unstoppable, to be honest. Okay, next up we have 4 copies of Hoothoot. You could go down to 3 copies of Hoothoot. I just like playing 4 just in case your opponent, like, discard makes you, like, your Stadium goes away, your Area 0 Underdepths goes away. You basically get another Hoothoot to work with. This can be a cuttable card if you find another, like, or if you need another deck slot. But having 4 Hoothoot, I chose the Temporal Forces one because your opponent reveals their hand, and like, you're gonna be doing 0 damage, but you can at least look at their hand. You're not ever going to attack with this Hoothoot, but also it has 70 HP, so it dodges Dragapult, and so yeah, nothing really more to say about that. But Hoothoot does evolve into Noctowl. Noctowl has the Jewel Seeker ability, which is the only important part about this card, which allows you to evolve. When you evolve it from your hand, you get to search your deck for 2 of any trainer cards and put them into your hand. Now, this is a turbo deck, meaning that most of the deck is going to be comprised of trainer cards, meaning that Noctowl can grab basically anything you want from your deck, and for just the cost of evolving. And because we play so many of them, we can get, like, tons of trainer cards into play. We can set up our Pidgeots. We can get multiple different things set up, and then we basically can just effectively we outpace their opponent by setting up quicker than they can. It's incredibly powerful, and I gotta say, this is a really broken engine, and I think a lot of Tera type decks are gonna start playing this. And yeah, that's it for the Pokemon. Now we have just a whole bunch of trainer cards, like a ton of trainer cards, and then like 4 energy cards. So let's kind of speed through here. We're playing 3 copies of Buddy Puffin, and that's really just so that way we can just get our Hoothoots and our Pidgeys into play, and also our Fan Rotom. We also have 1 copy of Featherball. Featherball is only in here so we can grab 1 Pidgeot EX. And nothing more. It's just so that way we don't have to discard cards using Ultra Ball. And it can be a cuttable card if you really want to. But it's been really helpful for me when I need it, because it just allows us to grab Pidgeot for no extra cost. We are also playing 4 copies of Nest Ball. This gets us any basic Pokemon in our deck. We're mainly going to be using Nest Ball for things like Bouffalant and for Terapagos, basically anything that can't be grabbed with Buddy Puffin. We are also playing 1 copy of PAL Pad. Now, I know that we're playing a ton of supporter cards in here. We're actually playing a ton of them, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But this basically just allows us to recycle the important ones that we have, like maybe 1 or 2 of in the deck. And it's really good when you basically can recycle, like, the most annoying supporter for your opponent, and then you can use it again. It's really fun. But yeah, PAL Pad is just in here to increase our deck size, because this deck can turbo through itself pretty quickly, and also it can get back a supporter that we desperately would need again. We are also playing 2 copies of Rare Candy just for Pidgeot. Nothing really more than that. It's just Rare Candy Rare Candy Pidgeot, and that's about it. Scoop Up Cyclone is our ace spec of choice. Now, I do remember I did rank every ace spec a few months ago, and I think I said that Scoop Up Cyclone was kind of like one of the mid ones, and yeah, it still is. But this is super broken in this deck. Basically, how this works is your opponent tries to put damage on your Terapagos EX, and they are most likely going to be short of a knockout. You just Scoop Up Cyclone that Terapagos and set up a new one. And It's disgusting. I played against a Dragapult EX the night before recording this. Actually, that was the last game I played. I have like a 10-win streak, by the way, so I hope I don't lose it in the video today. But basically what happened was they tried to set up... They only did 30 total damage, because basically all these buffs and whatever, plus Scoop Up Cyclone, they just literally could not do anything about Terapagos. There's other games where my opponent has like played Chien Pao, and they had to discard 5 energies, which they thought, hey, that would be enough, right? Because they think that 5 energies is going to be 200 or going to be 300 damage. Nope. Because of Bouffalant and because of other cards, basically we buff up Terapagos so much to where it can't be one-shotted, and then we just scoop it up and do it all over again. It's really disgusting, it's really toxic, and it's really fun when you get to do it. Next up, we are playing one copy of Super Rod, just so that way we can get back multiple Pokemon, especially if our opponent gets rid of our Area 0 Underdepths. We discard a lot of our Pokemon, so we can just Super Rod them back, place down a new Area 0, and then we can set it up again. We are also playing one copy of Switch. Sometimes our opponent tries to stall with like Bouffalant in the active spot, or maybe you just don't have a good Pokemon that you want there, and you can't really afford to like get rid of it with energy. You can't really afford to retreat, so we just have one copy of Switch just to get out of the active spot and start with something new. We are also playing 3 copies of Ultra Ball, just so that way mainly for our Noctowls and for Pidgeot. We are playing 4 copies of Area 0 Underdepths, a brand new stadium card that is probably going to be one of the most played cards in the Pokemon TCG for a long time. And that says any player who has a Tera Pokemon in play can have up to 8 benched Pokemon. And that's actually crazy. So basically how this works is we set up a Terapagos EX, and then we set down Area 0 Underdepths. Then we can load up our bench. It boosts Terapagos damage, and then we can do up to 220 damage with that. But we also get to set up multiple different support engines. We can set up a Bouffalant, we can set up everything in our deck, and our opponent does get access to this, and our opponent can disrupt this, but that's okay. It's really not that big of a deal if you lose access to Area 0, because we have a ton of recovery options, and just a ton of Pokemon in general that can just kind of replace the ones that you lost. And we also are playing 4 of these just that way we can really hit home that we are going to have Area 0 in play as much as possible. And then onto the supporters. Okay, we are playing 2 copies of Arven. Arven allows us to search our deck for any of our item cards and also for our Bravery Charms, which are the tool cards in the deck. We are also playing 3 copies of Boss's Orders. This deck doesn't have any other Gust. There's no Counter Catcher or Prime Catcher. You could probably play a Counter Catcher instead of a Boss or instead of a different supporter in here. But realistically, you just need to hit big numbers, and you can just keep doing that over and over again with your Beat Stick Terapagos. And Boss basically just allows you to search, like, Gust up like Teal Mask Gogurpon or Rotom V or something like that. Something that you can just knock out pretty easily for multiple prize cards. We are also playing 1 copy of Colress's Tenacity. Now, this is the first time I've played Colress's Tenacity in a deck, really. And basically, Colress allows us to search our deck for Area 0 and for Double Turbo Energy. And we can use that to set up our Terapagos. And this is kind of just like if we need to use Noctowl in order to get both of those things. Colress can get us there. You're not going to really use Colress too often because you're normally just going to naturally draw into it or just quick search for your stuff. But it's still here just in case you just need 2 pieces of the puzzle, and it basically kills 2 birds with 1 stone, which is kind of violent considering the fact that we have like 4 different bird Pokemon in here. Next up, we are playing only 1 copy of Iono. This is kind of one of the weird deck choices that I made, but it makes sense because realistically, you're going to be taking a lot of prize cards, and you want to have big hand sizes with this deck, so that way you have your options open. Of course, you do have Pidgeot, so you can get whatever you want, but we also do have PAL Pad, just in case we need to get back Iono. But we're not necessarily too worried about disrupting our opponent too much, because once we're set up comfortably with our Terapagos, there's not really much our opponent can do about it. Like, they can go after smaller bench Pokemon and stuff like that, but essentially, if they're not taking multi-prize knockouts, then they're not going to win because Terapagos will just outpace them, so it's okay that there's only 1 copy of Iono in here. Next up, we are playing 1 copy of Penny. Penny basically does the same thing as Scoop Up Cyclone, and it just scoops up our Terapagos. And this is just, again, another super toxic, super evil feeling card that you can place down. Your Terapagos is probably at like 40 or 50 HP left or something like that. Penny, whoops, where did my Terapagos go? Oh, look, it's back on the bench. Completely fine, there's 0 damage on it. Oh, you did damage last turn? I don't think so. Basically, Penny is just a super toxic way to, basically make an entire opposing turn useless. It's just another scoop up card, and you can use this for like counter stall and stuff like that as well. And only 1 copy, but you can PAL pad it back. We're playing 4 copies of Professor's Research, which is kind of really aggressive, to be honest. But that's just so we can get new hands, and we constantly have an option to just kind of dump our hand and go for something new, especially if we're needing a lot of resources. 4 research is really good, especially because we're a turbo deck. All right, we are playing 3 copies of Bravery Charm to boost our Terapagos' HP up to 280. But remember, because we have 280. Sorry, I was just trying to do the math in my head. Because we have access to Bouffalant as well, which is 60, I believe it's 60 less damage, you have basically, you have 340 HP. As a Terapagos EX, this little guy goes from having 230 to effectively 340 HP, which is insane, like, disgusting levels of, like, being just tanky. And I mean, what else do you expect from a turtle? Bravery Charm just basically boosts Terapagos to the point where your opponent will never knock it out, and then you can obviously scoop it up and kind of do all these shenanigans with it. It's disgusting. It's, like, super crazy in this deck, and honestly, like, I think that Bravery Charm is kind of just the nail in the coffin. When your opponent sees 2 Bouffalants and a Terapagos, they might be like, oh, okay, well, that's fine. I can still knock that out. Bravery Charm just basically says, no, you're not going to knock this out. And then finally, we have 4 copies of Double Turbo Energy, so that way we can power up our Terapagos to be able to use Unified Beatdown. Okay, so I know that was a pretty long explanation. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to work on, like, kind of shortening these, but I also know that I haven't done this for a little while, so I'm a little rusty. But I'm going to show the deck list on screen now. This is the full deck list. You will be able to plug it into Pokemon TCG Live, but if you try and put it into Limitless right now, it won't work, because at the time of recording this video, that's not, the cards aren't in the Limitless database, so don't try and put it in Limitless, but you can put it into PTCG Live, and it should work perfectly fine. Okay, so now we're going to head into some games. Getting into our first game here with Terapagos. This deck is absolutely insane. I'm telling you that, like, it's crazy. I tried recording a couple videos beforehand, but they just didn't turn out very great. So, or just starting from scratch, basically. I did lose the 10-win streak that I was just talking about a couple minutes ago for you guys, because, of course, math had to be awful to me, but it's okay. This deck is absolutely cracked. There are not many decks that can beat it, really. Our opponent won the coin flip. They're probably going to want to go first, like everyone does in this format. Let's see. Your opponent will go first. Of course they will. This means that we don't have access to... We can't use Terapagos, which is a little dumb. We do have Colress's Tenacity, but that's not really that helpful right now. And Arven would be awesome. Dragapult. We actually do beat Dragapult. Terapagos has a really good Dragapult matchup, to be honest. Nest Ball, maybe for like Rotom, maybe. Yeah. I know how this deck works too well. Very slow setup for our opponent, but I mean, hey, they're getting the essentials down. That's all they need. I really wish you could just use Unified Beatdown on the first turn. That's actually really annoying that you can't. An Ultra Ball. That's not that great, but, like, it's not awful. Ultra Ball away what? We do have Colress's Tenacity, so we can just go Ultra Ball away 2 Area Zeros. Because we'll still have 2 more, and we'll get another one with Colress's. So, let's do this. Fan Rotom. Fan Rotom, yes, we would like to use Fan Call and get ourselves another Hoothoot, a Noctowl, and a Pidgey. Boom. Let's go boom. Let's go boom. Let's go Colress's Tenacity. We're not going to place down the Area 0 because we have no reason to yet. And let's attach our energy and then we will pass, I think. Yeah. Because you can't use Unified Beatdown if you're going second on the first turn, which is just irritating. But, oh well. The ball is in our opponent's court here. What can they do? Hopefully nothing. Their hesitance gives me hope. They don't have what they need. Because they need Crystal, they need just Crystal, they need Rare Candy Dragapult. They might not have it. And if they don't, then we kind of have everything that we need in order to beat them. If they don't even have another Dreepy, then we just kind of win. Of course, we want to go first with this deck, because that way we don't run into weird situations like this. Because that would have been a really good going first sort of situation. Oh, okay, they just passed. I think that they just left, to be completely honest. Noctowl, we can go for Rare Candy, and yes, we would like to use Jewel Seeker. Let's go for Rare Candy and for Feather Ball. We can go Feather Ball and go and grab ourselves Pidgeot. Rare Candy Pidgeot. Area 0. Open up the gates here. Boom. Jewel Seeker. Yes, we would like to use Jewel Seeker, and we can go and get ourselves 2 Nest Ball. Or we can get a Nest Ball, and we can go and get a Research. Yeah, let's go for that. Nest Ball for Bouffalant. Slap that down. Then we go for a Research. New hand. Terapagos. Buddy Poffin, if necessary, which is not really that necessary. Let's just go for it. Let's go for it. Quick search for a Bouffalant. And we can just get an energy next turn. Slap down you. Terapagos is now unkillable, and now we just Unified Beatdown. They're only Dreepy. My guess is that they just kind of left. They're like, oh, well, I can't win, so I'll just leave. And I kind of hate when people do that, to be honest. But yeah, our opponent definitely just left. So, yeah. First game of the video that you will see is a win. Again, I try and be kind of open about like the performance of the deck. There were 2 losses beforehand. Both of them were just because I misplayed. If I wouldn't have misplayed either of those games, I would have won, but I'm a little bit rusty right now, so we're going to win this game, and we're going to move on to game 2. So we're just going to have to wait out our opponent here, which is no longer there. And yeah. Very, very fun. I've seen this a lot lately, where people just kind of leave. Like, they don't even scoop or anything. They just leave and make you sit there forever. Which is like, come on. Just the scoop or the concede button is 2 clicks. That's all you gotta do. Oh, look, Rotom. Free 2 prize cards. Just gonna wait here. So, I'll take this time to talk about my college life a little bit. So basically, I moved into college 2 weeks ago. Or 3 weeks ago now, I think. And I gotta say, it's been pretty good. I'm going for a degree in animation. So that means I'm in like a lot of film production classes and stuff. So maybe it'll help me with my editing and whatever. But it's been going pretty good so far. So I do have like some big projects I have to work on, but that's like kind of just typical college and whatever. But yeah, this should just be kind of our opponent's scoops. Or live scoops for them. And then we will be on our merry way. So if it says our turn again, we'll knock out the Rotom. Yeah, okay. Cool. Goodbye. Okay. Game 1 is a W. we take those and we will move on. Alright. Game 2 with Terapagos. That's what I like to call this deck, just because it really is just a giant tank deck. Alright, we are up against someone with a ranking of 700, which is like... That's one thing about this game that is crazy, is just, like, the matchup, whatever. Oh, we won the coin flip, cool. Yes, we would like to go first. Going first basically guarantees that, almost guarantees you that you win. I mean, this doesn't tell them really anything about my deck, to be completely honest, and it's almost all max rarity. So our opponent's gonna get another card, which is a bit annoying. Also, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 8, 11, 13. There are 15 basic Pokemon in my deck. How did I get a mulligan? Okay, we'll start with Terapagos, and we actually do have basically the perfect hand. To be honest, we just have a really cracked hand here. Opponent is going to probably just choose their one, and then we will start. If we can top deck anything, I think we want to get a Bravery Charm, or we want to get a double turbo. I mean, there's a lot of things that we have to get, but they're all possible. Another Dragapult deck. And they have... Dragapult has to go second. That's really bad for them. Let's go and get Fan Rotom. And we'll use Fan Call, and we will go and get ourselves another Hoothoot to, we'll get something like this. This is pretty good. Boom, and then we will pass. I don't want to place down Area 0, because then they can just knock it out of the... I can't talk. They'll bump the stadium, is what I'm trying to say. So our opponent is starting with a Dreepy. And they're staring down this Terapagos nonsense. Buddy Poffin. Okay, I mean, they can definitely start trying to get set up here. Pidgey, Dreepy. Okay, so this is a lot better than the other Dragapults I've seen so far. Especially better than the last one that we played against. Might be for, like, a Nest Ball for a Sealstone. Buddy Poffin for a Sealstone. Actually, why are they going after so many small Pokemon here? Oh, okay, they're playing the Dusknoir, or the Dusknoir version. That actually does work in our favor a little bit. And they're getting rid of an Ultra Ball. Okay. Fire Energy, and probably just a pass. Okay. No Rotom. We would want to go after the Rotom, if that was a thing. Let's go Noctowl. And we will use Jewel Seeker. We can go and get ourselves our Feather Ball, so we don't have to waste... I mean, to be honest, though, we're just going to get rid of this hand anyways. Let's go for a Rare Candy, and let's go for a Nest Ball. Right? We can just go for a Nest Ball. We also... I could even Iono them this turn and save a lot of my other cards, right? Because I have Iono. I do, okay. I could go for this, and I could go for a Bravery Charm. I don't need a Bravery Charm, though. Let's just go for a Nest Ball. Yeah, okay. So let's go for... Oh, I didn't even need a Rare Candy. Whoops. Ultra Ball these two. Go get a Pidgeot. I need to pay attention to what I'm grabbing more. So, we go get this. Rare Candy Pidgeot. We can go Nest Ball, grab ourselves another Terapagos, or we can just go grab a Bouffalant. Now we use Area 0. We can go another Noctowl. We can go for double Nest Ball. Alright, we just go for one Nest Ball, right? Nest Ball, and for Iono. I mean, we do give them a fresh hand, which I don't think I want to do. So you can just go get a Research. Yeah, we only have a Super Rod, so let's do that. Nest Ball, go get another Bouffalant. Boom, and then we can just Research. Cool, and we still have access to whatever card we want. There's a Feather Ball, which is useless now. We do have another Buddy Poffin. We can go Buddy Poffin for another Hoothoot. Let's go get a Hoothoot, and then we can go get... Yes, we would just like to get that. And then we can just go quick search for a... Quick search for a double turbo. How many do we have? Okay, we have all 4. Cool. Double turbo. And then we'll just go ahead and use Unified Beatdown. We don't need to do anything else, I don't think. I can't even save the Ultra Ball. Yeah, let's save the Ultra Ball. Cool. Knock out this Dreepy. Our opponent still needs a lot that they can do here. They have a lot of things to do, is what I'm trying to say. We're also not even doing that much damage with the Dragapult, right? They're only doing 140, which is not even enough to 2-shot once I get the Bravery Charm. Plus, we can just scoop it up. Oh, hello, Fez. Flip the script. Try and draw some cards here. Oh, yeah, they're locked out of using things like Luminion. A Dusclops. Another Energy. Petty Grudge. You, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. If they use de-evolution, we do lose out on Pidgeot. And I'm actually okay with that. We do get access to all of our... Yeah, I shouldn't have grabbed the Rare Candy. Otherwise, I'd just be able to Rare Candy again. Okay, you're just dumb, man. I'm sorry, that sounds so rude, but like... That's actually just so stupid of you. Here, you can't really do anything else. Yes, I would like to use Jewel Seeker. Let's go and get a boss, right? I don't have a boss in hand. Boss and... Bravery Charm? Oh, boss and Nest Ball, actually. That's what we need to grab. Do we not have any Nest Balls left? Oh, we don't. Ooh, that's yucky. Boss and Bravery Charm seems pretty good to me. Oh, I could even grab Scoop Up Cyclone. And then so I can just scoop up the Pidgey. Should be extra mean. Okay. Bravery Charm here. Then we can go Ultra Ball away the Pidgeot and the Fan Rotom. Pidgeot and the Feather Ball, because those are useless now. And we can go get ourselves another Terapagos. Alright, let's go boss up the Pheasantipity. Yay! Okay, I think that we're good. We don't even need to do anything else here. Unified Beatdown. Goodbye. So they knock out their Duskull or Dusknoir, then we just need to take 2 more prizes and we win the game. So they're like, ooh, that de-evolution was really gonna get him. I don't think people understand. This has happened multiple times. People use de-evolution, and then I just use Noctowl again. It's like, oh, okay. Oh, alright, you got rid of my Pidgeot. You got me. But I'll just place down my Noctowls again and get whatever I want anyways. So, who's laughing now? I don't see how they win now. They just don't win at all. I still have Scoop Up Cyclone, I still have Penny, I still have all these things left to do. It's disgusting, man. Basically, if you play it right, you just win against Dragapult. In fact, you kind of, yeah. All your Pokemon except for Pidgey are 70 plus HP, which means that they have to have Hawlucha if they want to do anything, and then most of them just evolve anyways. Oh, okay. Hello, Pidgey. I don't know if they sent it up or if PTCG Live sent it up. But yeah, we're good. Even if we get an Iono here, it doesn't really matter. We have almost everything that we want anyways. I think our ideal next turn is to try and find ourselves a double turbo. Just in case. And we do have Colress's Tenacity for that, so yeah. What can our poor opponent stitch together? Probably nothing, to be honest. They probably just left. Like everyone does. This is crazy. This would be 2 games in a row that a Dragapult player has scooped, which means if I had a nickel for every time a Dragapult player has scooped in this video so far, by sitting there and making me wait, I would have I messed it up. I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't much. And yeah, they're done. It's over. It is actually just so over for them. I think we just go and get rid of that. I want to use Noctowl for Colress's Tenacity, to be honest. Just so I can have another energy, but also I don't need to. Okay. Unified Beatdown. That's all I need to do. Goodbye, Pidgey. Goodbye to their consistency. If they're even still playing the game, then... yeah. How does that even work? Like, so they just close the game, and then the game just kind of makes you sit there? I don't know. But basically, you can just see how ridiculously powerful this deck is. I think that we're probably just going to leave the video off there afterwards, because I know how long these can get when your opponent just kind of leaves. But just showing basically the ultra hyper consistency of this deck is actually crazy. Your opponent basically will never knock you out, is the funny thing. Yeah, they definitely have left. It's 6-2 on prizes. Okay. Pretty awesome. Terapagos is just insane. We might come back to this deck later on because, oh boy, this deck is just super fun. Yeah, okay, they're gone. Get out. Be gone. And yeah, I think that we're just going to wrap it up there because 630-0. That just shows you how ridiculous this deck is. All right, I think that will be all for Terapagos EX. So this is my first video back in a little bit, but I had a ton of fun with this deck. Terapagos is probably my favorite legendary now because I love turtles, and Terapagos is a really tanky turtle, especially in this deck. So that's going to wrap it up for this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any recommendations for new decks, there's plenty of new ones. If you have any feedback for me, I am using a new editing software for this video and probably for future videos. And yeah, just tell me what you'd like to see next, what you liked, what you didn't like. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching. As always, God bless, have fun. We'll see you out there, and we'll see you next time. Thank you all so much for watching.